is Walter Gator Bradley, and I'm the host of the Bradley Report. I'm also the chairman of United in Peace, Inc. We got a very special show, a very interesting show, and it's going to be a long show, but it's going to be a short show because it's my birthday. One of the things I want everyone to know is that this show has been put together, like all my shows, by the director and the producer of this show. Okay, she's also the chairman of United in Peace, Inc., and I'm blessed by God that she's my wife. That's none other than Terry Marsh Bradley. So with that being said, there's a lot of things that's happening, and the thing that's so important is the elections. We saw what happened in Washington, D.C. We saw where Republicans want to allow the witnesses to come to trial. But they say all politics are local. There's
My name is Jamal
afoot by a young brother named Jamal Green. Y'all know he's the one that ran for mayor. I know he was the one in the forefront when the white nationalists and the Fraternal Order Police on April 1st, 2019, they came down in a protest saying that they was against Kim Foxx. I'm talking about the police and white nationalists that's working together. Some of the same individuals that's supporting four other people to run against Kim Foxx. But our governor, J.B. Pritzker, he has made it where it's important for Illinoisans to vote. Okay? Pritzker, it was a voter registration problem, so they said, about what happened at the Secretary of State's office. All that got washed away. They come to find out that there's nothing to it. Secretary of State, we did a show on that last week or a week ago where he exposed everything. Now the governor wants to make Illinois to be one of the first states in the presidential race. It's coming up in 2020, November 2020. That's very important. That's just as wonderful. But you, the voter, have a right to vote. You must vote. All you brothers that's former felons, ex-felons in the state of Illinois, you have a right to vote. The reason the policy for criminal justice reform is working the way that it is because we exercise our right to vote, and therefore putting in legislators from the federal level to the state level that worked with the counties and worked with the cities to help create criminal justice reform. That's a platform that Kim Foxx is standing on. That's the platform that I'm with. Okay? This young brother, Jamal Green, he's the brother that have this pack.
My name is Jamal Green.
I want you to hear this.
I was once just a young boy with a dream to survive the bullets that passed me by. I then became one who not only survived, but one who did everything to make a difference, specifically for our young people. Being the Put the Guns Down ambassador at 18, helping to lead the Laquan McDonald movement, fighting against corruption, speaking truth to power all across this country, and most recently becoming the youngest to ever run for mayor of Chicago. We are at a pivotal moment in our country, where we finally have the opportunity to elect leaders who will fight for the best interests of present, past, and most importantly, future generations. I'm proud to partner with the Progressive Action PAC to release our first round of endorsements of the change makers we need to support. Bernie Sanders, if you believe in a movement that will fight the systems that have oppressed us for too long, he needs your support. Millions of people must band together to demand a country that works for all of us, not just the top 1%. Kim Foxx, the first black woman to become the top prosecutor of Cook County. In her first term, she started her reforms on the criminal justice system by focusing on violent crimes and not low-level offenders. She stood up to Donald Trump and sued him to make sure immigrants could keep access to food, housing, and health care. She deserves a second term. Justice Nathaniel House. The Supreme Court is the top office of Illinois' land, and we must make sure we have someone who will be fair in their decisions and create new rules necessary to have real justice throughout all of our courtrooms. The rest of our slate aligns with our vision for a progressive future, and they deserve your support. Justice Hyman for Appellate Court. Jacob Meister for Cook County Clerk of Circuit Court. Illinois 1st Congressional Candidate Robert Emmons. Our countywide judges, Carrie Maloney Layton, Lloyd James Brooks, Deidre Bauman, and James Derrico. March 17th is a time to make your voice heard, Illinois, and I want you to join me in supporting these all-stars to lead us forward. It's up to us. Make your voices heard. Vote.
You know, that young brother I put together is very profound. Well, Gator, why is that so profound? He talking about progressive candidates that's running in this Democratic primary. Okay? There's a progressive movement. And Bernie is one of the ones that's leading that movement. I want to give you the stats. The stats from my brother. 1 minute here. Come on up, pull up a seat, man. He just walked into the show. I was just telling everybody about your flow.
Telling everybody?
I was just telling everybody, just went off, brother.
Good,
but what
good.
I want you to do, well, I got you on because I know you're moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know one thing you're moving on is that piece you're talking about what 50 Cent and them is doing.
Yeah. On my way to host For Life. He got a new series coming on ABC on February 11th, so I'm hosting the screening tonight.
Right. Hey, man, I was just about to give them the stats of what happened with Bernie and how the young voters give it to them.
Well, when you look at young voters in Iowa, and everyone knows this, Bernie Sanders has the biggest base of young people than any other candidate, and also in history. And we saw that here in Iowa, where he got about 44% of young people that were 17. Here it is. Yep. 17 to 24. Then he got 55% of ages 25 to 29, and actually 35% of 30 to 39. So when you're talking about young people, people who look at voting in the best interest of their future.
Right.
You know, they're not fully established. They don't have they're not
party.
owning
They don't have
houses, and they're not a they're not people who vote to try to stabilize themselves. They're people who vote to stabilize their future.
Correct.
And so this is the candidate that they're looking at, as well as, I'm a surrogate for them, and I think that it's important that we push.
Yeah, in that place, you're going to Nevada.
Nevada, South Carolina. We gotta win. We gotta win these states.
Oh, ain't no question. One thing I want, like I told you, they say national politics is important, but the most important thing is local politics.
Yep.
One of the things I want those of you in Illinois, you progressive voters,
Yep.
you got the power to keep Kim Foxx, the state's attorney.
Yep.
Because she's a progressive individual with progressive thought. That's why I got criminal justice reform. Carl, I see you.
Yep.
Could you state your name? Caller?
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Joe. What I want to say is that when it comes toward voting, do your research. Vote on issues that's concerning you. And that's one of the most important things, because don't necessarily vote on somebody because somebody endorsed them. And I want to make this one last comment. We got the census coming up. Fill out those forms and all that and send it in, because when it comes towards money coming back to your community, It's very, very important. And when you think about it, when you vote every day, when you go to the store and spend your money in places, guess what? You vote. And when you do vote, go to those places that going to try to keep the money in your community. And one of the things that really hurt us, when you look at the money in the black community, it don't stay around no longer than 4 hours. When you look at other communities, it stay at least 7 to 8 days before it leave out. And we need to think about those type of issues.
Hey,
That's all I want to say.
my brother, you said it a mouthful, and you're right. But the most important thing, we miss out because we haven't gave the young brothers and sisters
Yeah.
the understanding of the power of the vote.
Yeah.
Today is my 68th birthday, but me and this brother jail because one thing I know, the way that I was raised, you be young tomorrow,
Yep.
but you're going to need somebody young to teach your old player the game. Okay? That's why when he come up with the pack, I understood what he was doing back then, to the point that I had 5 friends who happen to be clients that's our candidates. One for the appellate court judge, one for the Supreme Court judge, 2 for the circuit court judge, and 1 for the state's attorney's race. That's a criminal justice platform that's going to affect these young adults. Because these young adults understand that when they come to vote, they helping to set legislation that creates policy to make life better for themselves.
And I'm siding with you on that. You know,
Right.
there you've made some great decisions, and we're partnered on some of them. You know, from electing Justice House to the Supreme Court. I think that he is a progressive, and he will be fair on the bench. And Justice Hyman,
yes,
and Kim Foxx, of course, which is definitely my top.
Ain't no question, man.
Candidate.
Ain't no question.
You
I
know,
saw you in the commercials. I made mention of that too, right before you came in. The importance of all of us being down there, but you being wise enough with your progressiveness in protesting, where you got that man to tell the truth about himself. That racist individual that's with the fraternal police. When you ask him the question, well, what do you think about Laquan? And he said you already been shot 18 times.
He said you should have been shot 20 times.
Yeah, that's the second time. Because you asked him, he said, you said what? He said, ask me again. And you asked him again. All the cameras there, all the young adults using their for real media cameras, which is their social media. And the man came on there and said 20 times.
20 times.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
you really see how they really feel about us. And, and that's why we need to be fighting for people who are going to keep the best interests of us. You know, they would, the FOP, the all-white man FOP.
That's right.
There's not one black man, not one black woman, not one Latina, no other on that board of the Fraternal Order Police. All white men. When they come out against her, and send like death threats, and vote of no confidence. We must stand behind.
We got to stand behind that.
We got to, and our lives really depend.
They do. You know, he's been threatened calling. I see you because I don't know how long I'm gonna hold him. But
I got 1 minute.
Got 1 minute. Come on, caller. Come on, talk to me.
Why they got everybody scared to come out and vote about that virus? And I'm gonna vote for Kim Foxx.
I love you, man. Hey, James, I appreciate that. One thing is this. You can't vote for violence.
There you go.
You can't vote against violence because it's happening.
It's happening.
You know what I mean? Our move is this, but you got to get legislators in there. The reason they mad at Kim Foxx, because Kim Foxx said, I'm not going to lock a man up for $44. Okay? I'm going to use that resource to put the prosecutors in the community where individuals getting shot so the police can do their jobs and get the witnesses. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to, I want to end on this. You know, one of your statement here that I'm looking at is important. Is it takes all of us. And, you know, one thing that I understand is that, especially being on the presidential level, traveling with Bernie, I see a lot of how we can actually really change things in Illinois. Bernie has the most diverse coalition that I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, he do.
And I was in Iowa in the caucuses convincing those who are undecided over the Bernie.
Teaching, right.
I went to a mosque where we had a caucus, and with 120 Muslim people there, all 120 were for Bernie.
Right.
Not no other candidate had one Muslim that was for them. And I saw all these different people. Then I go to the rally and I see white boys with cowboy hats.
Right.
I see all different walks of life. We can come together on these progressive values, and I see it in Bernie, and I see it right here in this state that we can have a new course if we decide to stand up and vote for those who actually have the best interest of all of us. And that's what I'm dedicated to do. And I'm partnering with you.
Appreciate you, man. I want to say this before you get out of here, man.
My name is Jamal Green.
God be the glory. That's our story.
I was once just a young boy with a
Illinois voters, the sleeping giant.
Yep.
Y'all woke.
Well. All right.
For real. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on the broadcast. I'm going to come on and be on there for the whole show.
You got it, man.
All right.
Go and take care of your business. Thanks for stopping in, man. Man, that's what I'm talking about. That's real time. That's a real show. This real business. Okay? On another tip, this brother, I just know he's the black man over the construction company called Boa. You know, I don't know how to pronounce his name other than he's a brother with a construction company called Boa. You know what I mean? And the thing that's so wonderful about him, is he got a contract at O'Hare Airport. African American brother that has a major contract at O'Hare Airport. That's wonderful. I want to say hooray, hooray, hooray from the mayor, Kim Foxx. I know the thing was in work before Kim Foxx became the mayor. But the fact of the matter now is that she is the mayor. And she's pushing for African Americans and minorities to get their fair share in contracts. And one thing that I know from dealing with African American contractors, they have no problem with hiring people from diverse communities and getting their fair share. Okay? I want to say to that brother, hooray, hooray, hooray. I want to say to the other black general contractors that's doing the Obama Museum, I want to say hooray, hooray, hooray. And no, sir. I think that's the brother's name. No, sir. I'm going to say it's no, sir, till he tell me get it pronounced it properly. But one thing for sure is not no, sir. I want to say no, sir. Hooray, hooray, hooray to you, to the mayor, to the city council. They all had a hand in it and helping to make this possible. And for all of us to realize we got to support our legislative body that's making sure that African Americans get their fair share and jobs and contracts. And with that being said, I want to tell you this. We got to stand 4 square behind Kim Foxx. Don't get faked out by that commercial that guy Conway got up there like he's the great white hope for justice. And he go and get that sister and they create this commercial, and when I read over the newspaper articles, I realize she really didn't want to be compared to Smollett. No comparison. Smollett was a liar. Okay? She happened to get caught up. And from what I hear, Conway went and made the move that took the case from the public defender and pleaded her out. When as she fought the case, she would have beat the case. He played her out. The same agreement that the public defender had with the state's attorney's office. She ended up getting the same agreement. So for him to convince her that Kim Foxx didn't care about you because you went Smollett, that's a lie. But this is what I want to say. Like the previous caller said, Google and find out what is happening with the candidates. For the Supreme Court candidate, House has ethical fortitude and integrity to be on that bench compared to the rest of them, especially compared to the brother that's there as an interim, talking about Neville, that's going around the communities with that fear-mongering, talking about because there's 3 blacks in there, they're going to destroy the black vote. That's a lie. You just realized that with the last vote for the mayor's race. It was about 5, maybe 6 African Americans in the race. 6. 5 or 6. And at the end of it, it happened to be 2 African American women in the race. When President Tony Prewick was running for the Cook County Board, it was about 3 individuals, African Americans, in the race, and 1 white guy in the race. And everybody said it was going to be split between the 3. And the only white guy was going to win. The voters of Cook County are smarter than that. They made a decision to elect Tony Prewinkle, an African American woman. They made a decision here in the city of Chicago to elect Lori Lightfoot, African American woman, to be mayor. Because the voters felt that was the best choice. But you cannot have an individual that has an inference where he may have committed fraud or identity theft. It's all over the news, so this ain't Gator saying it, because I found out the same time a lot of other people found out doing the slating. In order to get home exemption, you have to live in the property. It started there. His mother died in 91. May she rest in peace. Him and his family, see assemblies for what he said out of his mouth in a public forum that was streamed on CAN TV. The forum was dealing with all the individuals running for the state Supreme Court justice seat. And the question was asked to him. In 99, they did this. She had been dead for 8 years. You have to live in that house to get home exemption. It was in her name. She wasn't living there because she was deceased. 2004, interim justice Neville, quick deed to property. 2004, quick deed to property. He didn't live in the property. He stayed in the 19th ward, not in Brownsville, in that property. From 2004 to 2019, his mother's name was still on that property getting home exemption. Everyone knows, or every lawyer knows, that if there's an inference of impropriety of a judge that's in the courtroom where you defending your client, you have a right to say you don't want that judge to sit in adjudication of your case. It ain't by Gator's law. It ain't by osmosis. It's the law. And inference. Here, Neville is beyond the inference, because he ended up paying 4 years back of the money once he got caught. But from 2004 to 2019, that's 15 years right there. I know I got to wrap it up, but the truth is the truth. I'm just telling you this. It ain't a matter about how you feel about me. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I'm so glad my wife taught me that. That's why I appreciate everybody else's opinion. You got a right to vote for whomever you vote for. But if you pick the wrong man, and we're seeing how they investigate African Americans. See what they did to Dorothy Brown? They just investigated her out of office, didn't charge her with nothing. Here you got a man, Neville, that's on record for doing wrong. Could you imagine if he should win? Then here they come. You've done something wrong, and there he go, and there it becomes to probably the Supreme Court people to pick who they want to be on that bench. All I'm telling you, vote, don't choke, March 17th, 2020. Re-elect Kim Foxx, Cook County State's Attorney. Elect Justice Nathaniel House for the Illinois Supreme Court. Elect Michael B. Hyman to the Appellate Court. And elect Deidre Bowman to the Circuit Court. And I want to say, to God be the glory. Also got one more. Elect Miss Maloney Lathan to the Circuit Court. To God be the glory. Vote, don't choke.